Hi there, I'm Andy and welcome to my channel about crypto. In today's video, I want to give you a quick update on the current market situation, as well as what are my thoughts where this market is heading in general on a slightly longer time frame. And of course, what I'm doing in the current situation. As always, if you like those videos, please remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also please do check out the private Discord. So as always, we have Bitcoin's chart here. And of course, last couple of days, well, the performance been less than impressive. We reached the bull market support band, I think 4 or 5 days ago, but we got quite clearly rejected from it. And since then, well, we've been on a quite clear downtrend. Actually, it seems like we may have a bit of a recovery today. Still a bit early to say. Certainly things were looking a bit more red earlier on, but we'll see how it goes. Nothing to be particularly excited about just yet. Of course, the main thing to consider at the moment is that for the last few weeks or couple of months now, we've been tracking this trend line. And I mentioned it quite a few times before in my videos. So something like this. And so far we managed to very nicely hold it here, 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 and again. And also we're holding it very nicely in the recent days, well, last couple of weeks. And then of course, a couple of days ago, we broke below it. And in fact, if we zoom in, as we can see, actually the last couple of days, that's been quite clearly resistance level. So far today, we've been quite clearly below it. I don't know if we will get back to it or not, but there's pretty good chance that what used to be our support line, that trend line, may actually become our new resistance level, which of course wouldn't be great. So that's the main thing we have to be looking at. Essentially, what will happen over the next few days? Are we going to manage to break above it? And the positive thing is that if we do, well, we are not far off the bull market support band. That's currently around $42,500. So we are not far from it. It still keeps trending down. But at the same time, well, if we're below this trend line, there's pretty good chance that we may break further down, potentially to around 35K or even below. I think it's rather unlikely, but it certainly has to be considered. And also, of course, if Bitcoin is bearish, and it quite clearly is at the moment, well, that's doing no good for the alts and their valuations. Essentially, if Bitcoin is bearish, then alts are going to get hit pretty hard. And if we look at the prices of altcoins, or the altcoins I'm usually tracking, well, we can quite clearly see that a lot of them are down to the levels we haven't seen in quite a while. I mean, Vulcan forged in around $10, $11, Veracity below 19 cents, and many others quite severely down. So, of course, if Bitcoin continues on this bearish trajectory, all these alts will get hit pretty hard. So in this situation, I think that quite clearly buying any alts is an extremely risky strategy. Essentially, I would just build cash position, or if you wish to do so, go into, well, DCA into Bitcoin and ETH. But when it comes to alts, as much as it's really tempting to enter some of those, as much as it's tempting to enter at some of those levels, I think the risk remains very, very high. Essentially, I expect that we may have some sort of bigger capitulation event. And even if we don't, well, if we just continue trending sideways, but still below the bull market support band, that's going to be pretty bad for altcoins as well. So I'm certainly not planning to add anything to my alt positions just yet. I would like to see a bit of clarity what's happening next for Bitcoin. That being said, I expect the market to pick up later in the year, even though, well, we've been in quite bearish conditions for a while. Even though Crypto Fear and Greedy Index has been now in extreme fear territory for quite a while, as you can see from the chart. And, well, like I said, everything is red at the moment, or almost everything is red at the moment. I think overall, actually, the situation is not that bad. Last year, when it was quite clear that we will head into some sort of bear market sooner or later, that inflation will start going up. Everyone was super, super bearish. Right now, I think overall the situation globally is improving, yet the market is very bearish. Of course, there are many other things that are coming into play, like the situation in Ukraine, for example. And I think that's one of the reasons why the market's been so sketchy recently. Essentially, a lot happened that we could not predict. And of course, markets hate uncertainty. But once that situation stabilizes a little bit at least, I think the market will start picking up. And I still think that we'll see a solid bull run later this year or early next year, essentially at some point within the next 6 to 12 months. But at the same time, I think the next few weeks or maybe even few months will be still quite choppy. And of course, if your position is mainly in altcoins, well, that's going to be quite brutal, to be perfectly honest. So I'm optimistic for the mid to long term, but short term, I think things will stay quite rough. To be perfectly honest, at the moment, Bitcoin is recovering quite nicely, but yeah, I'm certainly not getting excited just yet. And at the end of the day, even if we do get back to the bull market support band, well, after such clear rejection a few days ago, and after getting above it and then not being able to hold it a couple of weeks ago, I think that we still have a long way to go. Essentially, we need not only get above it, but we need to quite clearly establish it as support. So yeah, we'll see how things will go. But at the moment, I think the market is going to remain quite uncertain for a while. So like I said, I'm not really looking at this point to buy any altcoins. I'm looking at them, I'm keeping a close eye on them, but I don't think it would be the right thing to enter any new positions right now. Essentially what I'm waiting for is either a clear capitulation event, and if that happens, well, I want to have cash ready so I can buy like this proper dip. Or alternative, of course, would be Bitcoin getting above its bull market support band and then trending up. And then, of course, that's a second really good entry point, albeit at slightly higher prices. But at the moment, well, I think there's literally 50-50 chance of going up or down, and I simply don't want to take my chances. If you want to go full degen, and if you want to buy some altcoins, my suggestion would be that either buy stuff that's heavily discounted from its all-time high price. So the sort of chart patterns I was looking at in my video last week, I'll put a link to it at the end of this video. Or the alternative to that would be picking projects which have really tiny market caps and pretty decent fundamentals. So basically projects where the risk is of course really high, but you can purchase very small amount. So essentially your risk is relatively low. And if it goes down to zero or if it crashes quite a lot, well, you won't lose any sleep over it. But at the same time, if it goes up, it has an opportunity to go absolutely insane. So things like, for example, projects like Bounty Hunter. And there are many other projects like this, but this is just one I'm using as an example as I've been looking into it recently. It's quite a cool project, really good idea behind it. It has solid doxed team. They launched previously a project and that has something like 250,000 users in Southeast Asia. So it should do well. Fundamentals are there. But of course, because they launched their token only a couple of weeks ago, well, in the current market, it's tough. I mean, there's no other way of saying it. So they launched it here. And yeah, they've been in green for a while. And then, of course, recently as Bitcoin dipped, well, like I said, well, Bitcoin goes down, alts go down, and well, of course, alts dip much more than Bitcoin. But the reason why I'm mentioning this project in particular is because of the tiny market cap, $118,000. I mean, that's close to nothing. Or in other words, this project could go 20, 30x and still be only $2 or $3 million. So basically it would be still well within the microcap territory. Sure, fully diluted market cap is really large, so I would look into tokenomics and when the tokens will be released or when the tokens will be unlocked. But stuff like this, even though it's an extremely high risk purchase, so don't get me wrong, this is absolutely tragic financial advice. It's not a sensible thing to do, but if you want high risk investment, then I think, well, you should basically look at the risk to reward ratio and go for stuff that, okay, it's really risky, but if it goes up, it's going to go absolutely parabolic, or has potential to go absolutely parabolic, and can do like 20, 30x when the market picks up, and then another 5 on 10x on top of that when the market fully peaks. So yeah, that's just sort of my thinking behind it. Essentially, either play it safe, or if you're going to degen into something, just pick stuff where risk to reward ratio is absolutely massive. So essentially, yeah, you're risking your full position, and of course, make it something small and sensible, so you don't lose too much money. But then if it does work out, well, the profits will be worth it. So I think that's it from me for today. Not really that much to talk about. The market is not really in the best shape, but like I said, I'm remain bullish mid to long term. Short term, I think pretty much anything can happen, so I'm just taking it easy at the moment, trying not to look at the charts too much. I'm going to take actually a couple of weeks off, so sorry if there won't be many videos coming out in the next couple of weeks. I may post something, maybe I won't, but yeah, I'm just taking a bit of a break. Need to recharge my batteries, and then yeah, we'll see how things go. If you would like to still get some updates, please check out my Discord channel, because I'll be still posting something there every now and then. But yeah, otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.